JBN, we keep you informed. I am Michelle Jones, and in the news, 3 shot, 1 fatally in St. Mary. 3 people were shot, 1 fatally, during an attack by a gunman in Storetown, St. Mary on Thursday evening. The deceased has been identified as 35-year-old Martin Scott, otherwise called Bubba, a craft vendor for Huddersfield in the parish and Exchange, St. Anne. A 44-year-old woman and a 59-year-old man are in hospital. About 7:30 p.m., patrons were at a bar when a man armed with a gun approached and fired shots, hitting the 3. Scott died at the scene. The police it appeared that Scott was the target. Woman's decomposing body found inside St. Andrew apartment. The decomposing body of a woman was discovered inside an apartment located along Lady Musgrave Road in St. Andrew on Thursday evening. The police and the fire department were called to the complex by a concerned neighbor after the woman was not seen since last Thursday. She reportedly lived alone and kept mostly to herself. The first responders forced their way inside the apartment, and that's when the woman's decomposing body was found. The scene was processed and the body was removed to the morgue. Guns seized in Westmoreland, 1 in custody. The Westmoreland police have seized an illegal gun at a residence in Numperil Road, Negril, on Thursday night. A bar operator, who is said to be the owner of the premises, was taken into custody on reasonable suspicion. The police report that a search warrant was executed at a 1-bedroom apartment. During a search of the room, which was unoccupied at the time, a .38 revolver with no visible serial numbers affixed was found on the bed. The gun was checked and found to be loaded with 6 live rounds. Investigations are ongoing. Man and woman charged after St. Thomas gun find. Police have charged a man and a woman who were detained following the seizure of an illegal handgun and several rounds of ammunition at White Horses in St. Thomas. Doran Anthony Foster and LaDonna McLean were last week charged with illegal possession of firearm and ammunition and possession of ganja. The 2 were taken before the St. Thomas Parish Court after being charged and are to return on December 5, 2022. The police reported that about 5:30 a.m. on November 16, a team of lawmen executed a search warrant at a location in White Horses. While searching the premises, the police team observed a man fleeing and discarding an object as he ran. He was pursued, caught, and the item retrieved. The item was found to be a .38 special revolver loaded with 6 rounds of ammunition. The 2 people were taken into custody. 90-year-old woman killed in St. James fire. Family members were left grief-stricken after 90-year-old Ida White died in a house fire at Gopies Lane in Salt Spring, St. James, Friday morning. She had been confined to bed because of illness. Firefighters, who were doing cooling down operations at the house, found her body in the destroyed wooden structure. The firefighters say they got a call about 8:55 a.m. and responded with 2 units. However, it was too late to save White or the home. Upon arrival, would have been met by the police team from Montego Hills Police Station that was already on the scene. They made it known to us that when they got to the location, the entire structure was already engulfed in flames. They were later told by the caretaker for Miss Ida White, approximately 90 years old, that she is in the building, said Acting Superintendent Everett Montague. Montague said the police were alerted after White's body was found in the western section of the building. Her granddaughter Colette Carr is among those stunned by the news of her death. Boy, me can't feel good. I'm a one granny left. She alone left. Me love her like that. Right now I drop down. See the cocoa ya, she said, as she pointed to her bruised head. She said her grandmother lived alone in a yard shared by the family, and they often checked on her as they knew she was unable to care for herself. We visit her. The house them very close. At least 3 times a day we visit her, as we know she gone back to baby stage. We never left her out, Carr said. The damage has been estimated at $2 million. Investigations into the cause of the fire are ongoing. Private eye and police crack suspected vehicle racket. Police have confirmed the arrest of a car dealer who is accused of obtaining close to $4 million from one of his clients for a BMW motor vehicle that was not delivered. According to Senior Superintendent Marlon Nesmith, the commanding officer of the St. Andrews Central Police Division, the man is to be charged in that matter, but more people have been filing similar complaints against him. A private investigator who worked on the case and spoke on condition of anonymity said that he was retained to gather evidence against the car dealer. He said that he subsequently found out that the accused had already been listed in September as wanted by the St. Andrews Central Criminal Investigations Branch in connection with a case of fraudulent conversion. In November, he was captured during a sting operation executed by the St. Catherine South Police's Proactive Investigations Unit with assistance from the private eye. This man is accused by my client of collecting $3.7 million from him in regards to buying a 5 Series BMW for him. The client paid over all of the money, but up to now the car cannot come to light, the investigator said. After I finished investigating it, I set up a sting operation with the police in Portmore, St. Catherine. When we nabbed him, the person pointed him out, and we wanted to know who else was out there with the same complaint. When I googled him, he was wanted by the police. Enough people are bald because of this man, he said, adding that other people have been filing complaints against the accused man. According to the investigator, exhaustive checks have revealed that there is no physical location for the man's car dealership, although it is listed on the company's Office of Jamaica website. There's an investigation now that is targeting someone very close to him we may have channeled money to. He created a car mart that is linked to a banking platform where you can send money, the investigator said. Holness challenges PNP to prove it would manage COVID better. Prime Minister Andrew Holness on Wednesday charged that the country would have certainly collapsed if it was under the governance of the People's National Party PNP during the COVID-19 pandemic. Speaking at the National Solid Waste Management Authority, NSWMA, handing over ceremony for 50 trucks and 10 bikes, the Prime Minister praised the stewardship of his administration, which he stressed has been helping the country to recover to pre-pandemic levels. If this pandemic had hit any other government, the prospect of collapse of the government would be real. If this pandemic had hit a PNP government, the country would have certainly collapsed, and I want them to come out and contradict it, he said.
If this pandemic had hit any other government, the prospect of collapse of the government would be real. And I go as far as to make another statement. If this pandemic had hit a PNP government, the country would have certainly collapsed. And I want them to come out and contradict it. Because by virtue of what they said in Parliament on record about how we should have managed the pandemic to spend more, not on your garbage trucks. That was never what they were asking us to spend on. You go back and look at the record and see where they were advocating for more to be spent on garbage trucks. But this government took the right decisions, carried us through the pandemic safely, and we are not having what is normally called a U-shaped recovery. The last major shock that hit our economy in 2008, 2009, 2010, we did not recover, meaning we did not get back to the pre-2008 level, still 10 years after. I want them to argue with that. We are now experiencing a V-shaped recovery, but I like to call it a tick recovery, because the recovery is going to be better than where the fall-off took place. So we are almost back already at pre-pandemic levels. And that is because of not just good governance, but good government.
Go talk to the judge, Chuck tells operators seeking ticket amnesty. Justice Minister Delroy Chuck has blasted public passenger vehicle operators who are demanding an amnesty on outstanding traffic tickets, telling them it's a matter for the court and not the government. Speaking at the Justices of the Peace commissioning in Ocho Rios sent on Thursday, Chuck declared that the government will not give in to calls for the implementation of the measure. The operators have stated that they need time to pay the outstanding tickets, but Chuck said the government will stand firm against the audacity of persons who have violated the road code and want an amnesty. This government will not back down, and we're determined that for every single violator there will be consequences, Chuck warned. This is a matter for the courts. This is not a matter for the Prime Minister and the Minister of Justice and the government. If you fail to pay your tickets in 21 days, it is a matter for the court. You want a payment plan? Go and talk to the judge, he added. Last month, several operators across Jamaica withdrew their services in a demand for the ticket amnesty, with some pointing out that the government implemented an amnesty for illegal guns ahead of the new stringent Firearms Act. But Chuck made it clear that there would be no leeway from the government given the high volume of outstanding traffic tickets that have clogged the courts. We have over 1 million tickets that we'll be pursuing. You have over 2,000 drivers with over 100 tickets. Nearly 500 with 500 tickets. And these are the people who tell you they need time to pay? These are the people repeatedly collecting traffic tickets like confetti. Chuck said outstanding tickets are being sorted out and will be on the Justice Ministry's website. Violators will be caught and taken to court, he warned. He said that based on the system being implemented, persons with outstanding tickets will not be able to renew their driver's license or register their vehicles. Chuck lamented the carelessness of some drivers on the roads, saying their day of reckoning is at hand. He called for drivers across Jamaica to obey the road code. Ramarock and Greenlee made false allegations against me, says CFO. Petrojam's Chief Financial Officer Delroy Brown claimed on Thursday that he was sent on a 5-day suspension in 2018 after then General Manager Floyd Greenlee and then Human Resource Manager Yolanda Ramarock concocted false allegations against him. The finance executive testified on Monday that he was suspended after resisting a request from Greenlee to do something that was not correct. Greenlee, who resigned from Petrojam in July 2018, and former chairman Dr. Percival Singh are being tried in the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court on fraud charges in relation to overseas travel allowances amounting to $73,620. Brown acknowledged that the reasons given were that he was not attending meetings with Greenlee and that there was a need for improvement of deliverables in the accounting department. The improvement was little to none in that area. Is that correct? Knight asked, to which Brown said he had vague recollections. Additionally, Brown told Knight that the matter did not stand out in his mind as he had taken it to be false. So the general manager and the human resource manager were making false allegations against you? Knight asked. Yes, Brown answered. Asked further if the managers had not documented improvements that were needed. Brown said he could not recall those specifics, but remembered being spoken to about the matters in question. Further during cross-examination, Brown pointed out that a donation to the Diabetes Association of Jamaica was a contentious issue because of the magnitude of the disbursement. We never had those contributions of that size, he said of the amount, which was not disclosed in court. However, an Integrity Commission report cited the sum as $6 million. While Brown had testified that he had initially refused to prepare the check because it had not received board approval, he admitted on the further cross-examination that he had sent an email to Greenlee, copied to Singh, in which he had indicated that he was humbly awaiting the then chairman's approval to proceed without the board's resolution. Asked by Knight if he was willing then to prepare the document with the chairman's approval, he answered in the affirmative but added that it was pending the board resolution. Brown, at the same time, said that the request had received approval at the subcommittee level. He later admitted to Knight that the donation went through after discussions. Singh and Greenlee are being tried on fraudulent conversion, aiding and abetting fraudulent conversion, and conspiracy to defraud charges. Greenlee is also charged with obtaining valuable security by false pretense, contrary to Section 35 of the Larceny Act. The former Petrojam chairman is alleged to have submitted claims amounting to $73,620 between November 2016 and July 2018 for overseas travel he did not make. Greenlee is alleged to have aided and abetted the then chairman in that process. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.